So it's been announced that Michael Conlan will face Ruben Garcia Hernandez, Mexican fighter, on Paddy's Day weekend. I think it's actually going to be on Paddy's Day in Madison Square Garden at the theatre. Now, this is news I expected. Michael Conlan seems to have, Paddy's Day is his annual fight day. It has to do most Irish fighters, to be fair. I know Katie Taylor is fighting, I believe, in Boston. No, I think she's actually fighting in New York, I think. New York or Boston on the Friday before Paddy's Day. And I think Spike O'Sullivan and a few other Irish fighters are out in Boston on Paddy's weekend. So it's not uncommon for Irish fighters to be fighting on Paddy's weekend. It seems like just customary. It's almost like a staple. Excuse me. And yeah, Ruben Garcia Hernandez is the guy Mike Conlan's going to be facing next. Now, he, I believe, fought Nonito Donaire. I think it was in 2017. It could have been 2016. I think it was just after he fought Magdaleno Donaire. And Donaire beat him on points. I didn't actually watch that fight. I don't remember seeing it, but I remember people talking about it and saying that was kind of really when they figured Nonito Donaire was finished, because he won it, but won it unconvincingly. So it's somewhat of a step up for Conlan. Conlan, the jury's still out on me with him. I think he is very good. He's a very talented fighter. He's not necessarily a devastating puncher, but he's got some skill there. He's got good boxing abilities, good boxing brain. He can switch it up. He's good, but he's had some performances that I've seen, especially last year, where I kind of, it left somewhat to be desired. And to be fair, Michael Conlan, yes, he's headlining Madison Square Garden, and I can imagine he will be headlining this show. He's headlining Madison Square Garden. He's doing all this, but I still think that Michael Conlan missed a major ship when he didn't sign with Eddie Hearn. I've said that before, but I think that, essentially Conlan is co-promoted. Essentially, he fights in the States, he's with Bob Arum and Top Rank, but when he's over in the UK, he's basically with Fish Eyes, essentially. Like, he's fought in Belfast, that was a Fish Eyes card, and he fought on the Frampton Warrington undercard, that was a Fish Eyes card. So essentially he's co-promoted by Fish Eyes and Bob Arum. Excuse me. Again, I've said this in previous videos about Michael Conlan. I think that Michael Conlan missed the ship when he didn't sign with Eddie Hearn, because I just look at the job he's done on Katie Taylor, and I just think to myself, if that was Conlan, he would have done a million and one different things for Conlan. Conlan would probably be way more well known than he is now. He's known amongst the Irish fans, and he's not really known amongst anyone else really. So I just think that, Bob Arum, and the thing I've always felt is that Bob Arum, he has Shakur Stevenson in the featherweight division as well. And I think that Bob Arum maybe feels that Shakur Stevenson is the money ticket. Given that is he managed by Andre Ward, or he's got connection with Andre Ward, I know that. And to be honest with you, I don't know if that fight would happen or if Bob Arum would make that fight, but if he was ever to make, say in the summer, Shakur Stevens versus Michael Conlan, I'd make Shakur Stevens favourite in that fight. I mean, I've been a bit more impressed with Shakur Stevenson, I should say, than I have with Conlan. That's not to say Conlan's not good, he is. But I think the jury's just still out on me with him. And I think that, when he turned over pro originally, we heard Matthew Macklin saying, within 10 fights, we'll have a world title on our hands. We'll have a world title, no problem. Definitely not. You can definitely tell that, Conlan needs a little bit more work. I think he needs a little bit more adjusting into the pro game. And I think that one thing I would definitely say about Mike Conlan is he's with Adam Boot. I don't know if I would necessarily, if I was in his team, which I'm not, I wouldn't necessarily have Adam Boot as my trainer. I would maybe actually look at taking an American trainer. I think that actually Freddie Roach might be a decent fit for Conlan, because Conlan, he has the boxing ability, and I think maybe he could do with being a little bit more aggressive. I just get that impression that, I've seen a few fights where he's really relied on one punch. I remember he fought, I think it was a Spanish guy on the Lomachenko undercard, and he was really looking for just the right hand the whole time. And Adam Boot I didn't really think was giving him that great instructions. And I think if he was with an American trainer like a Freddie Roach, or even a Goosen, the guy who was training Amir Khan, I think that would actually probably be best for him, to base himself in America full time, considering he's fighting there and then training back in London. So I would definitely say, obviously I'm not in Mike Conlan's team, I don't know the ins and outs, but that's what I'd be thinking. And those are my thoughts on this. So Hope you all enjoyed this video. I had some issues with the Demetrius Andre Billy Joe video. I recorded that last night and I uploaded the first thing this morning, but it took hours for it to actually hit people's sub box. 'Cause I have a subscriber who I know personally, and I sent him a message and I said, "Is that video in your box yet?" And he said no. It was middle of the day before it actually started showing up in people's sub box, so that was a bit of an issue. So I don't know when this video is actually going to hit sub box. I'm hoping soon. I'm hoping straight away, but if it doesn't, we'll see. But anyway, leave your thoughts on that, and I'll talk to you after.